Chapter 15, Part 1. What is love? To surrender my darkened heart. Alan Watts teaches us that falling in love is a bit wild. We don't talk about rising into love, but rather the idea of falling. This concept goes back to something fundamental. There's a curious link between the fall and creation. Taking this risky plunge is what makes life possible. Life itself is an act of faith and a gamble. Every step, every journey, every human relationship is an act of faith. Surrendering and giving oneself up is a powerful thing. It's total abandonment. Love, in essence, is surrendering to another person, letting things go out of control. While sensible people try to keep things in control, true wisdom lies in letting go and committing oneself, even if it seems a bit mad. Embracing vulnerability and surrendering to someone may seem irrational, yet the greater the risk, the greater the potential reward. Hence, we conclude that one may find a semblance of sanity within madness. The science of love. What is love? Excellent question. From a scientific perspective, the data suggests that love is a chemical reaction that makes humanity breed. People confuse lust, which is a strong desire to have sex, with love. The purpose of lust is to reproduce and to ensure the survival of one's genetics. Lust does not include an intimate attachment to the partner. Furthermore, love is a combination of chemicals. The key chemicals guiding our emotions and drives include testosterone, estrogen, dopamine, oxytocin, and vasopressin. Dopamine creates euphoria, while adrenaline and norepinephrine cause the racing heart and preoccupation linked with love. MRI scans reveal that love activates the brain's pleasure center. Oxytocin, known as the cuddle hormone, contributes to bonding during certain types of human contact, as demonstrated in both human and animal studies. In adults, oxytocin enhances the sense of secure attachment. You fall in love in 3 stages. 1. Lust. 2. Attraction. 3. Attachment. Each stage has its chemical reaction involved. The chemicals involved in lust are testosterone and estrogen. What determines attraction are dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. Finally, the causes of attachment are oxytocin and vasopressin. Lust is the desire for sexual satisfaction, a feeling that developed in humans to promote procreation. Hormones like testosterone and estrogen drive lust, while dopamine and norepinephrine make us feel giddy, energetic, and euphoric. It could also lead to reduced appetite and difficulty sleeping, indicating that being in love can affect eating and sleeping patterns. The serotonin hormone is a vital neurotransmitter that regulates social behavior, mood, memory, appetite, digestion, and sexual desire. Interestingly, serotonin levels are believed to begin to decline during the attraction phase. Oxytocin is the chemical that makes you feel protected. It naturally occurs when parents and children look into each other's eyes, embrace, or when you make intense eye contact with your partner. Other relationship-enhancing effects also include empathy, trust, and the processing of bonding cues. Finally, vasopressin is associated with physical and emotional mobilization. It helps support vigilance, behaviors needed for guarding a partner or territory, and other forms of adaptive self-defense. Individuals who adhere to the idealized concept of true love relationships but act impulsively based on lust and haste may make a mistake by marrying too soon. Marriage leads to conceiving a child. However, when the male has planted the seed, the male will lose lust or love for the partner, which leads to divorce. Have you ever noticed that divorced people have at least one child? That's why more than 50% of marriages end up in divorce. If you were to go skydiving and the instructor told you, well, there's a 50% chance that the parachute will open, would you take that chance? However, despite these facts, one should not be a nihilist and use this information as an excuse to indulge in meaningless sexual pleasures or not find a life partner. Why don't marriages work? Is the wrong question. The real questions are, what about the other half of the small percentage of marriages that work? What makes a marriage work? The effects of divorce on children and society. More than half of my friends, co-workers, classmates, and cousins have experienced divorce. The U.S. divorce rate doubled between 1960 and 2009, but in 2018, stats indicate a 42 to 45% decline in the past 22 years. Despite this, around 1 million American children endure their parents' divorce each year, highlighting the need for more research and awareness to prevent the lasting physical, emotional, and financial impacts on children. Divorce's long-term effects increase the likelihood of children facing financial instability and higher criminality rates as adults, hindering their ability to pursue well-paying careers and contribute to society. The following information will help identify the causes of divorce, its effects on society, and how to prevent it. There are around 2,400,000 divorces per year. The popular statistic, 50% of marriages end divorce, was first quoted in the 1980s. But is that still the case? The statistic has dropped by at least 5% because millennials are waiting longer to get married, and their marriages are lasting longer due to waiting for the correct partner. However, more research must be done to find the factors contributing to a marriage ending in divorce. The most common reasons for divorce include loss of intimacy, not having the same goals of success, and lack of finances, to name a few. Lack of intimacy, unfulfilled goals despite verbalization, and financial mismanagement contribute to diminished care and respect for your partner. Psychological view on divorce. A study discovered that women started almost 69% of all divorces among about 2,000 surveyed couples. But why do women initiate divorce? Let's find out. According to psychotherapist and author Adam Lane Smith, couples therapy is not pointless. It is a miserable experience because it only works when both partners want the relationship to work. Women will have already made up their minds about ending the marriage 1 year before filing for divorce. Women often try hard to change their men, tolerate it for a while, and then leave when they get tired of their partner not making positive changes. Men beg the woman to stay, but by the time he opens his eyes, the woman is already done with the relationship. Most people do not have the communication skills to speak to their partner proactively and adequately about their problems, so they sweep the problems under the rug and throw tantrums. Nothing gets resolved when a partner acts out my way or the highway. This just creates resentment between partners. Partners will vent about their issues but will not search for solutions. Thus, nothing gets resolved. If nothing gets resolved, tension lingers, creating more significant problems with time. When all chaos is let loose when women are ready for divorce, they want to separate themselves from a partner who is unwilling to change for the better and escape from someone who is not a competent, confident, strong man who can take responsibility. Psychotherapist Adam Lane Smith teaches us that women typically change for relationships. Men will only change for circumstances, which is their perceived reality. Women initiate divorce because they have to put up with their husbands for years, hoping they would change, but they never do. Men only change when they can observe a problem and see a solution to it. Nowadays, with many people coming from broken families, people need a proper model for an ideal romantic relationship. People blindly enter relationships and marriages without the wisdom of being a good husband or wife. People do not understand that they must fix themselves before attaching themselves to someone for the rest of their lives. Instead, people end up losing themselves to their partner, becoming something they are not, and resenting their partner for turning them into a crippled version of themselves. You have been hurt, betrayed, and feel vulnerable. You have a fear of abandonment because of your previous partners, your so-called friends, and your parents. This fear makes you avoid attachment and intimacy to avoid the pain that comes with the risk. The foundation of your negative beliefs was once your relationship with your parents or caregivers, but it doesn't mean you will suffer from insecure attachment forever. You need to fix yourself, learn to love and accept love, attract the right person, and obviously do not voluntarily expose yourself to people who want to use you for personal gain. Your brain chemistry is metaphorically damaged from your broken relationships that caused your addictions, whether it's porn, drugs, alcohol, shopping, or toxic people. The intimacy you crave and never had is what you need from the correct person. But first, you must know yourself and heal before attaching yourself to another. Effects of divorce on society and in the U.S. Divorce impacts families and society's future. After around 18 months post-divorce, 77 to 83% of mothers and their children often face poverty without a consistent income from the male figure. This has lasting effects, with girls more likely than boys to rely on welfare and public housing as adults. Therefore, taxpayers will contribute to paying these expenses rooted in children experiencing divorce. However, the effects of divorce on children do not end there. Research suggests that children of divorce are more likely to commit crimes, engage in deviant behavior, and consume drugs and alcohol. This is due to the lack of parental guidance and being exposed to a dysfunctional family, since our parents are our primary influences as children. So, divorce not only prevents future adults from contributing to society, but also takes away from society. Divorce will breed women without financial support and future criminals, to name a few. As crime rates go up, prisons will keep overcrowding, and as a society, we will be paying the cost with taxpayer money. However, this is just one factor of the hundreds of factors that can breed criminality. Therefore, we can't blame the effects of divorce solely. Now, how does divorce affect the United States? Every year, 1 million children are victims of divorce. Divorce will have disastrous physical, emotional, and financial effects on children that will last their entire lives. These children have higher rates of suicide, perform poorly in school, drop out of high school, and decrease the rates of college graduation. This means one of the products of divorce is uneducated children who will grow up to have a low probability of having a high-wage career, thus unable to contribute to U.S. communities and society. Proposed solutions for divorce. A research study examined how big of a problem divorce is in the United States and proposes several solutions to resolve the issue. One researcher believes the government should require married couples with minor children to complete divorce education before filing for divorce. By doing so, couples will know how divorce will affect their individual lives and their children's lives. It is also proposed that the government should promote community-wide marriage programs for couples looking forward to getting married and marriage mentoring programs for troubled marriages. These solutions sound very effective for society, but the problem is, who will pay for those community programs? Taxpayers? Applying communication concepts to divorce. However, applying communication principles to romantic relationships could be a more effective solution. At the core, a marriage will not fail if you genuinely know your partner and see them as your romantic partner and best friend. Researchers have applied the 10-stage model of relationships to social relationships and marriages to identify the stages of initiating and termination. A research article focused on identifying Knapp's relationship communication model's behavioral, cognitive, and affective dimensions. The results state that people generally indicate different thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in each stage. They propose that the intensifying stage is the most important when building a relationship. In this stage, couples begin to self-disclose and determine if they have mutual affection and attachment. In contrast with the experimentation stage, couples and friends only see the superficial aspects of their partner. Sometimes, relationships can have a wide range of communication topics, but not go very deep into those topics. This means couples have many topics to discuss, but don't get very intimate on that amount of topics. Romantic couples also rush to get married without genuinely knowing their partners, causing turbulence in the relationship after marriage. Research suggests that you should marry someone after moving in with them. This is when we find out if we can tolerate how our partner lives their daily lives. It is believed that you don't truly know someone until you have moved in with them. The problem with this is that it is not a choice for some couples to move in before marriage. Putting all your faith in one person before knowing and experiencing living with them is a daily gamble. Some people are nightmares to live with. They are unorganized, filthy, have tantrums when they don't get their way, etc. Another study proposes another factor to consider. By applying social penetration theory, we focus on relational intimacy and several disclosure variables. The sample was from 60 couples with relational difficulties who were thought to be going through the depenetration process. This means that the relationship is starting the process of falling apart. The research indicates that when intimacy goes down, sharing personal information becomes narrower and less deep, and the tone of the shared information becomes more negative. The data supported their suggestion when breadth and valence had a strong correlation but had opposite predictions for depth. When intimacy decreased, depth increased. The results found that as intimacy decreased and there was no self-disclosure, it made participants have negative feelings and thoughts towards their partner. This may sound like common sense, but it's only common sense when someone points it out. If it's common sense and people are aware of the problem, then why don't they fix it? Common sense is also not common practice. People refuse to give up pride to begin the healing process with communication. Excuses such as, well, he's the man, he should come to me, or, well, she started the problem, she should apologize, are simply lame excuses not to grow up. Another article sought to answer the question of whether communication predicts or results from a spouse's previous satisfaction levels. The study found that satisfied couples engaged in more positive and effective communication. In the long run, couples were more satisfied with their overall relationship when engaged in effective, less negative communication. The study suggested that effective communication is a good predictor of overall relationship satisfaction, thus predicting divorce. It can be applied to Aristotle's concept of the goodness stage of friendship. According to Aristotle, there are 3 types of friendship. The first type of friendship is utility, which is when you become acquaintances with someone from whom you can benefit. This type of relationship is about ourselves and not the other. It is about personal gain. It is a selfish type of relationship. An example would be establishing connections with classmates, such as having a designated class friend, which can be strategically advantageous. Maintaining at least one in every class ensures a support system for obtaining missed class notes when needed. Another example would be social networking to get a new prestigious job with the help of a friend. The second type of friendship is pleasure, which is when you seek some pleasure from them. An example of this would be a relationship with no strings attached, with a partner that seeks only pleasure. This stage is not about self-disclosure or intimacy. Both parties benefit by finding some pleasure in the relationship. Sexual gratification, for its sake, only leads to feeling more empty and unfulfilled. Another example involves friends solely gathered for alcohol consumption. These acquaintances may not be true friends but drinking partners in such cases. This lonely companionship might stem from a desire to avoid feeling alone in one's self-destructive habits, fostering a form of self-deception that group participation makes such habits less harmful. The third and last type of friendship is goodness. According to Aristotle, we should all aim for this type of friendship. The first two types of friendship are about personal gain. Goodness is more about your best friend. It's about intimacy and self-disclosure. Now, let's further discuss these types of friendships. Aristotle's 3 types of friendship. There's nothing more honest than the kiss of a courtesan. Christian Ismael Navarro. People can be investments or bills. Losing a friend led me to find a more genuine connection. I don't experience scarcity. I simply transition. Solutions often involve making trade-offs. I am covering Aristotle's 3 types of friendship in depth in this chapter, because this advice is valuable for your social interactions in the world and your personal and romantic life. The first type of friendship of utility is a friendship in which one party or more benefits from another person. It exists between you and someone helpful to you in some way. This type of relationship is short-term. The relationship ends as soon as the benefits end. An example is having co-workers in the workplace who are connections. If they have power, you have it because they can get you what you need. Beware of who you use, and reciprocate favors and benefits so this type of relationship can grow into the third type of friendship. People are more than merely pawns and can offer more. Some people are not your friends. They fear being your enemy. The second type of friendship is pleasure. This type exists between you and those whose company you enjoy. These friends help you get that dopamine kick in your brain through activities. This type is common in younger individuals. It is an emotional relationship that usually doesn't last very long. It ends as soon as a party member loses interest in the other. Pleasure must be reciprocated and negotiated in this relationship. At the extreme level, this is where friendships with benefits fall because you're both enjoying sexual pleasure. Aristotle didn't think these 2 types of friendships were terrible, but he believed their lack of depth limited their quality. Aiming for intimacy and depth to grow a relationship would be best. The last type of friendship is suitable. These are your best friends, your bros, the boys or girls. This type of relationship thrives on mutual trust, intimacy, loyalty, and growth. Your love for them is rooted in their virtues, not just what they can do for you. It's built on mutual respect and admiration, taking longer to develop, but is more powerful and enduring. These connections often form when 2 people share similar values, goals, and visions for the world. It is expected to be a childhood friend that falls into this type of friendship. Mutual hardships endured make these friendships strong, and the quality time spent yields mutual growth. These friendships last till the day you die. You should aim at this friendship because it automatically yields the results of utility and pleasure types of friendship. You can have your cake and eat it. Pay attention when someone has done something good for you. If they're doing something that promotes harmony, then notice it and reward them. They will turn into the rat that pushes the lever for cocaine. Reward good behavior and reciprocate to good friends. I don't mean it in a manipulative way. If you truly want to punish someone, punish them when they have done something good for you. If you want to punish a man, take away his purpose. If you want to punish a woman, refrain from communicating with her and keep her isolated from others. Your circle should be supportive, not envious. A friend can become an adversary, while an enemy might potentially become a friend. The people we spend time with shape the quality of our lives, especially our romantic partners and family. Get yourself friends of the opposite sex because they can target your blind spots. There's a big difference between hanging out with someone attractive versus someone you are attracted to. If you are attracted to that person, you should stay away from that person, especially if you lack self-control or are untrustworthy, because you should only be attracted to your partner. However, the situation can be case-dependent and subjective. For instance, if you're in a toxic relationship and find yourself attracted to someone who is single and could potentially offer a healthier connection, the decision becomes more complex. If you find yourself loving two people simultaneously, choose the second. If you truly loved the first, you wouldn't have fallen for the second. Assuming you know what love is and you're not confusing it with lust. Assuming you have earned a better partner. I quickly cut people out of my life who couldn't help themselves. You cannot help someone who doesn't want to be helped. Those who drown in self-pity want pity from you. They will pull you under, and that's how they will thank you for attempting to help them. Avoid infectious people, or you will be infected. Always rest well, and avoid those who have destructive sleeping patterns. They will steal peace from you. I hate who steals my solitude without providing real company. Friedrich Nietzsche. Don't feel pressured to fit into others' idea of fun. It's not limited to drinking or partying. Fun can be found in a quiet night with a book, meaningful conversations, a walk, creating art, playing music, or doing your work. You define what's fun for you. It's okay to say no without elaborate explanations. If others are offended by your boundaries, it's their issue. The best weight to shed is the burden of other people's opinions. If you wouldn't recommend your friend to your family, why keep them? Loyalty isn't being foolish. Friends should be fair and honest. Choose those aiming for better. It's okay to pick people who uplift you. Surround yourself with those who encourage good and discourage the opposite. People not aiming up may try to bring you down. Choose those who support your improvements and make you better. Aristotle's concept is evident in various ways within marriages. Some individuals marry for financial support, while undocumented immigrants may do so to secure residency in the United States. Some couples choose marriage for tax benefits, others for sexual pleasure, and some for what is commonly referred to as true love. These are only a few examples. We can go further down the rabbit hole by applying the triangular theory of love. Robert Sternberg focused on intelligence, creativity, wisdom, and more. In terms of relationships, he proposed 3 components of love: intimacy, passion, and decision commitment. The problem arises when applying this theory because measuring its 3 relational components is difficult: intimacy, passion, and commitment. A study sampled 213 married individuals. Sternberg's theory was able to predict accurate results of primary assumptions among married couples on their relational satisfaction. Regression analysis indicated that each component was a significant predictor of relational satisfaction. Surprisingly, the results showed that men scored significantly higher intimacy levels than women. This suggests that by applying communication concepts to interpersonal romantic relationships, specifically marriages, individuals can prevent marrying the incorrect person. And already married individuals can learn how to resolve problems arising. We can learn from Sternberg's love theory that relationships not culminating in marriage are typically rooted in infatuation, friendship, or a blend of both romantic love, often driven by intimacy and passion. It's intriguing how consummate love, encompassing intimacy, passion, and commitment, may undergo evolution, challenging the notion that commitment-only relationships, empty love, can endure. While consummate love is the ideal, sustaining it throughout a lifetime seems demanding, necessitating further research to unravel its sustaining factors for broader understanding. In summary, avoiding divorce can be achieved by selecting the right romantic partner. This involves applying communication concepts and marrying someone who is not only your best friend, but also shares similar life goals and complements your personality. Even though divorce rates keep declining steadily, divorce is still affecting the lives of children and society on a significant scale. Although some solutions are proposed here, more research needs to be done to see the effects of communication theories on marriages. If you're currently in a relationship and want to know if you are going to be with your partner long term, ask yourself, do I love my partner for how they make me feel? Or do I love them for who they are, including their personality, individuality, and flaws? Furthermore, try this experiment. Embark on a one-week vacation trip to a national park with your partner, without phones, social media, or any technology to distract you from each other. This will compel you to truly know the person and determine if they can live with you, or if you can live with them. If things go to shit, it's likely that you're not compatible, caught up in lust rather than genuine connection, or both of you may simply fear being alone and lonely. Pathological everything. Modern culture tends to pathologize everything and diagnose minor symptoms, making huge mountains of hills. Individuals anticipate a life devoid of stress, sadness, and grief. Consequently, when confronted with stressors, there is a tendency to swiftly seek a diagnosis, transforming it into an official and comprehensible entity. We often err by refusing to acknowledge that certain challenges are inherent to life, and that many problems are transient, with pain often being fleeting and quickly diminishing. Through our actions and attitudes, we shoot ourselves in the foot and make a big deal out of things because we want our lives to be peaceful and happy 24/7. Sorry to burst your bubble, but that's not reality. Emotional, sexual, and overall impotence is a big deal for men because men need mission and power to be able to do it. Men need purpose and the ability to accomplish it. Men are crushingly depressed in the modern world because they lack purpose. The start of male depression begins with powerlessness. A man is encouraged to start a weightlifting routine because one is forced to forego a physical transformation and thereby a mental transformation. To begin treating powerlessness, lifting weights makes one strong physically and mentally. Upon witnessing the physical transformation you've achieved in your body, you gain confidence in your ability to enact changes in various other aspects of your life. What does going to the gym and building an impressive, respectable physique say about you to women? First of all, it is not the actual aesthetics of your body that they are attractive to. Don't get me wrong, it does get your foot in the door for a relationship, but it is not the main focus for women. A respectable physique communicates the following about your personality to women. You are highly conscientious, disciplined, patient, hardworking, have a high caloric surplus, are consistent and self-reliant. It communicates that you have goals and can achieve them, that you are healthy and have high testosterone. All these traits biologically convey that you are fertile and capable of contributing to a new, healthy, and competent genetic lineage. This implies that your genetics will endure over time as your children carry forward your strong genes. Women want an athletic man with good social skills and problem-solving skills, a decisive man without being tyrannical. In reality, women are attractive to high-quality men. The higher your value, the more women you will attract. However, you cannot just rely on one source to attract women. For example, if your value comes from your money, you will only attract one type of woman: gold diggers. The more valuable traits you have, the better, because the more you have to offer, the better the variety of partners you attract. This goes for women too. Women want so-and-so to have this and that, but they have nothing to offer. Are you serious? That's a fucking joke. Why would a high-quality man be interested in trash? How can you begin working on yourself? By working in the external and physical. To maximize a healthy body type, you have to attract partners who are attracted to your body type. Everyone has a body type, but the hip-to-waist ratio never changes for women. Healthy women have ratios of 0.67 to 0.85. Scientifically, research indicates that women are most attracted to men with shoulders 1.6 times broader than their waist. For instance, if a man has a 32-inch waist and 45-inch shoulders, his ratio would be approximately 1.406. If you can hit these numbers, you can easily attract the opposite sex. Women's beauty standards communicate fertility. For example, long, healthy hair indicates good nutrition and diet. This was further discussed in a different chapter. Attachment theory. Dr. Jordan Peterson teaches us that babies need love to survive. It's not just about warmth, shelter, or food. Babies without these natural necessities don't make it far, and those who do often face lasting issues. Being touched and played with is crucial for proper neurodevelopment. Playing fair is also essential. It shapes a child to engage in social interaction and reciprocity. It is our human need to be attached to our caregivers from birth in order to survive. When we don't have secure attachments growing up, the probability of neurosis or addiction increases. We all wish for stable, long-lasting relationships, especially romantic ones. But frankly, so many of us fail at it. Our lives can be filled with painful conflicts, arguments, and even violence between our partners and ourselves. John Bowlby's attachment theory suggests that our lack of relationship security stems from our childhood. Maternal care is as essential as food for the development of a child. Attachment is essential as it lays the groundwork for crucial trust in our adult relationships, influencing our motivation, willingness to take risks, and development into mature, trustworthy individuals. Children subjected to prolonged physical and mental abuse, trauma, and neglect face an elevated risk of psychological disorders, health issues, and substance abuse in adulthood. Research on children raised in understaffed Romanian orphanages revealed that those with less physical contact scored lower in cognitive tests and were twice as likely to exhibit symptoms of anxiety compared to children raised in foster homes. The point of studying and understanding attachment theory is to help you build better relationships with everyone in your life. That includes dissecting your past and figuring out the bag of snakes you are. Your attachment style is not permanent. You can change yourself so others can work with you. In 1958, psychologist Harry Harlow conducted an experiment with infant monkeys, separating them from their mothers and providing access to two surrogate mothers, one made of wire and the other covered in soft, terry toweling cloth. The study revealed that the baby monkeys spent more time with the cloth mother, indicating a preference for comfort without nourishment over the wire mother, which only provided nourishment. Harlow's research underscored the vital role of parents in our development and highlighted additional needs essential for human happiness. We are hardwired to need touch, love, and comfort from the people around us. Attachment is a profound and enduring psychological connection that forms between human beings. It goes beyond mere physical proximity, encompassing emotional and psychological bonds that stand the test of time. This intricate web of connection involves not just shared experiences but a deep understanding, trust, and reliance on one another. It is a dynamic and evolving aspect of human relationships, shaping how individuals perceive and navigate the world around them. Attachment influences not only the way people relate to each other, but also plays a crucial role in emotional well-being. Attachment influences the overall development of individuals across the lifespan. According to his ethological theory, infants have an innate need to form a bond with a caregiver. He believed that the earliest bonds children form have a lasting impact throughout life, keeping the infant close to the mother for survival. This idea is later connected to Carl Jung's psychology of the man-child. Understanding attachment theory is crucial because it explains how secure attachments in early childhood support a child's brain development in the future, especially in adulthood. The following experiment related to attachment theory is the strange situation devised by Ainsworth and Wittig, 1969. In this experiment, she observed how infants and toddlers responded when their mothers left them alone with a stranger. This study helped identify the different attachment types between children and their caregivers. In the strange situation procedure, a child plays for 21 minutes while caregivers and strangers enter and leave the room, simulating the familiar and unfamiliar presence in a child's life. The varying stress levels and the child's responses are observed. The situation varies in stress, and the child's responses are observed. Developmental psychologist Mary Ainsworth studied attachment theory, which suggests that young children form bonds with their caregivers. These bonds are essential for the child's development and well-being. So, what causes insecurely attached toddlers? It is suggested that less responsive mothers often ignore their children, or super anxious mothers are obsessed over every little thing. So why would you want to understand these psychological experiments and theories? Because it is your guide to preventing dating and even marrying the incorrect partner once you have identified their attachment style. You genuinely do not know what qualities you want in a partner until you have been hurt by someone you thought loved you. At the beginning of dating, people just focus on the superficial and materialistic. Once they realize lust fades away, they start craving the qualities of a mature, responsible, loving, and generous adult that they could potentially marry. You realistically have to get emotionally involved and expose yourself to personalities that will help you discover what you want and don't want in a long-term partner. You must avoid infectious people and those whose actions have yielded negative results in their lives. The consequences of our attachment styles are lifelong because the way we were raised gets transferred to our romantic partners in adulthood. We will go into the 4 types of attachment styles in more depth. Be honest with yourself and identify what attachment style you fall into. You must accept problems to change them. Insecure attachment style, avoidant. The first attachment style we will discuss is the avoidant insecure attachment style. This style finds discomfort with deep connection. They enjoy the exciting aspects of the beginning of the relationship, but escape emotional attachment the more profound the relationship becomes. They make charming daters but bad long-term partners. If there's a problem, they don't communicate their conflict because for them, avoiding the problem means solving it. Avoidant people pair with people with anxious, insecure attachment styles. The avoidant one does not support the anxious one, and the anxious one constantly invades the delicate privacy of the avoidant one, which is not a healthy relationship. They use humor to diffuse situations that may be too emotional because their fear of intimacy is hidden behind a smile and sarcasm. They see a display of emotion as unnecessary and as an exaggeration. They don't want others to open up to them because it makes them uncomfortable. They will control others by shaming any display of emotion. They achieve their comfort of disconnection. By doing so, they associate emotional connection and intimacy with pain, hence making an unconscious self-defense mechanism to avoid everything that will cause a deep personal connection. A suggestion for the cause of the avoidant insecure attachment style is that the child's parents were physically present but emotionally absent. Parents would be cold and never tell their children that they love them. They were hurt by intimacy. As children, they were conditioned to avoid fear by not showing emotion. Avoidant children can become detached from reality to protect themselves, becoming cold in the process. Feelings like emotional attachment, closeness, and tenderness are always considered dangerous and shunned. Parents discourage showing emotion, so children are conditioned to hide their emotions to fend for themselves. Avoidant people look down on people who show too much emotion. They have extreme boundaries. Even though boundaries are healthy and necessary to have, extreme boundaries can be a problem. They are strongly independent due to their self-sufficiency, thus pushing their partner away. They pretend not to care. They only have a few close relationships because they only let a few people into their lives because of trust issues. They find faults in others and are critical of others. In their self-image, they see how their cons outweigh their pros. In my experience, after my breakup in a long-term relationship, my girlfriend at the time had betrayed me. The person I loved most had stabbed me in the back without remorse and hesitation. Soon after, I started viewing every girl as a predator and myself as a prey animal. You live and learn. People crave intimacy, warmth, and embrace, but the avoidant sees warm objects as treacherous. If you identify with this attachment style, initiating change starts by expressing gratitude to those who've supported you and letting them know their significance in person. I know it's easier said than done, but you have to start somewhere. Insecure attachment style, anxious. If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. Lao Tzu. The anxious type is the complete opposite of avoidant attachment. They fear losing connection. These people jump from one romantic partner to another because they need a cherished connection. If they don't, they feel like they are dying. They experience heartache, depression, and anxiety because they are needy. In extreme cases, they can even threaten to commit suicide if their partner leaves them. This is unhealthy and obsessive. Their feelings of self-worth are derived from others. They are clingy and demanding, always attempting to fulfill their selfish needs, can quickly get angry, and always check that their partner hasn't left them. They become suspicious of their partner leaving them. They romanticize love because it is easier to fantasize about it than to form a close, intimate relationship based on reality. They are attracted to partners they can save, or partners they can save them, especially from themselves. They can be demanding, clingy, and obsessive. People in this category struggle with insecurity and low esteem because of no guidance with individuality. Obsession can occur even before knowing the individual. The anxious type becomes obsessed because they are projecting their image of the ideal partner onto the object of their love. Their low self-esteem blinds them to the flaws of their ideal partner, which causes them to change anything or everything about themselves to remain close to that person. However, an ideal does not exist. It can only be approached. The anxious type's low self-image leads them to believe that their ideal partner would never want to be with them. Consequently, they cling desperately if they do find a love partner. Afterward, possession and anxiety will lead to jealousy and suspicion, which will drive people away and turn into self-inflicted confirmation bias. Unconsciously, the anxious type will use their pain to manipulate their loved one. They make their loved ones fear their suffering, so much so to prevent breaking the relationship with the anxious one, even if the relationship is failing. Certain individuals choose to remain in a deteriorating and unhappy relationship, laboring under the illusion that they can mend it, rather than face the prospect of solitude and loneliness. Our biological need for connection and attachment extends far into adulthood. If the person with anxious attachment is separated for too long, they feel that everything good will disappear, as nothing good will last. They are desperate for attention. They search for assurance and get upset if it is available. Their moods can be unpredictable and change rapidly. For example, they feel despair and become filled with hope again. Mood swings cause them to confuse turbulence in their relationships with passion. They feel unworthy and feel like they are not good enough for their partner. They take criticism as rejection. Their trust issues make them needy because they did not receive the attention they needed as children. Many factors can cause this insecure attachment style. A suggestion is the loss of a cherished caretaker at a young age. Connection is valuable but not forever. Thus, they must always have their shield up. So, if you're suffering from this, how do you fix it? Pick up a skill or hobby that has nothing to do with relationships. Engaging in a passion during moments of solitude prevents you from relying on others for your self-identity and feelings of self-worth. Insecure attachment style. Fearful. While rare, the fearful, insecure style can be unpredictable and will sabotage the things they want and need in a relationship. They bounce between their people-pleasing attitudes and building hatred towards the people they seem to love. They have the worst attributes from the anxious and avoidant, insecure attachment styles. They lash out and can be violent as their relationships become deeper in connection. It doesn't matter who they date. Every relationship fails through self-sabotage. It is suggested that the cause of the fear is because the child was a victim of trauma, sexual, physical, or verbal abuse. Also, they had no loved one. For the fearful attachment, vulnerability means the actual ultimate pain for them. When they are about to be vulnerable, they throw every self-defense mechanism to prevent getting hurt. People in this attachment style need professional help. Someone who can be trusted to help dig up their traumatic past. They fear being too close and distant from their partner because they hurt them. They have a lot of conflict and a negative self-image. Researchers at the University of Minnesota could predict if a child would drop high school with a 77% accuracy. In another study at Harvard, undergraduates were asked how close they felt to their parents. 35 years later, they were asked about their health. Individuals who reported a broken relationship with their mothers were diagnosed with health problems such as coronary artery disease, hypertension, and alcoholism in 91% of cases. The poor health diagnosis was just 45% for those who reported a warm relationship. However, many factors contribute to health problems, especially in 35 years, and correlation is not causation. These studies should be considered theories and suggestions rather than absolute knowledge. Attachment style. Secure. Finally, the last attachment style is the secure. This is the rare ideal. Individuals with this style are more successful and can set healthy boundaries in their relationships without taking anything too personally. If they encounter a conflict in their relationships, they know how to resolve it. They do well in conflict and show confidence because they are not afraid of abandonment. Disagreement is calm. They do not blame or raise their voices if their partner is rudely treating or isolating them. They are not troubled by their actions and do not overreact because they know they can care for themselves. They don't need their partners for their feelings of self-worth. Hence, they have a positive self-image. They do not cling to others. They trust themselves to deal with problems by their means. They can place trust in others in vulnerable moments. They do well in groups and can be highly independent or group-oriented. They treat every situation differently, adapt to circumstances, and can rely on others. All these positive attributes occur because they are not recreating their childhood trauma. They disregard the bad characteristics they learned as children and keep the good ones. They understand they will lose their loved ones. They can give partners freedom, are honest, and have equal relationships. They form stable grounds with their love partner. However, security does not mean they are perfect. This attachment style resulted from a strong upbringing by the mother, who was sensitive and attentive to the child, and thus developed as a confident, competent, trustworthy adult. People with insecure attachment styles have the misconception they cannot change their attachment. This is far from the truth. We can all learn to reprogram our brains to learn how to receive and give intimacy and love. With the help of others, practice, and trust in others, we can help ourselves to reprogram our lives. Learn that you can change. Fix your attachment style and attract the correct partner. Only then you will understand your identity in a relationship. Self-knowing is not self-justification. Healthy attachment is built on love, mutual sharing, and understanding. It's a reciprocal relationship. Understanding entails telling your partner they hurt you and moving forward. This is requested before the partner so the mistake is not repeated. Exploitation is not allowed. Instead, both parties benefit. 50-50ths does not work because not everything can be equally divided. Some things are impossible to add to 50-50ths. Like our jobs and skills, and realistically, each partner will be better than the other in different things. An intimate, deep relationship with a partner who is your best friend can truly enrich your life. Striving for this ideal should be the goal for everyone aiming to become a great partner for the person they love.